scaling will take time. Even to reach that 10 lakh rupees per month, 15 lakhs a month, 20 lakhs a month, it will take time. And if you are aiming to go 50 to 1 crore, definitely will take time. Majority of you might be stuck right now and you might be thinking, oh, I'm putting in a lot of efforts but I'm not able to scale. That is the same exact feeling that I also had, that why is it so hard to scale a business? Why is it so difficult to make money while running a business? Don't get distracted until you fix that. Whether it takes a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year, keep focusing on that. Be patiently aggressive. Know it's a long-term game. Put your 110 efforts every single day and stay tuned with your goal. If you are an entrepreneur who is scaling your own business, you're launching your own online coaching business, consulting business, in the middle of running your own business, then this message is for you. Why? Because in this journey, there are going to be points when you are going to feel like you don't know what to do next. You are basically just in the, you are distracted. You're just lost in the way. And despite putting all the efforts, despite working harder than you ever worked in your life, despite taking on more stress than you took in your job, despite doing everything, still you won't grow. And let me tell you the reason for that. This is a mindset shift that I have recently, when I was reflecting back, I recently found out that there has been a mindset shift, a belief shift, I would say. I used to think, if you do not know, just for your context, I was working as a high ticket closer in this company called Ubility, right? It's basically, it teaches coaches and consultants, basically people, how to launch their own coaching businesses in India and charge high ticket for the same, right? It is one of the biggest companies in India, right? And they were already like doing 1 year when I was working with them, a month, right? And all the biggest coaches, consultants of this industry, of Indian space, were working with them. So I had a pretty good advantage of learning from the best in this Indian space of coaching industry, right? What I've seen is, when I was working with them as well, it's like scaling a business is pretty simple. It seems very simple, rather I would say it like that, right? How it seems like is, number one, you need a validated offer, an offer that people actually want. Alex Hormozy, 100 million offers. Number two, you need a proper acquisition or a marketing system which is sorted out, which is getting you quality leads every single day, right? That is the $100 million leads, Alex Hormozy. Number three, you need a proper sales process, right? In order to convert these people at a high ticket price. That is the third pillar that you need. I'm pretty sure Alex will write a book on that as well. $100 million sales. And the fourth thing that you require is an amazing delivery, a fulfillment system that can actually provide results. Not something that you are just promising and under delivering, because ultimately that business is just a bubble and in no time that business would get vanished. So number fourth would be a proper delivery system, a fulfillment system that is actually scalable. And the last pillar would be team hiring, management and scaling, where you interview, create your hiring funnel, manage people, create SOPs, all the boring job of running a business and scaling it. If we look at it in a simplistic manner, these are the 5 pillars, right? I had this belief that scaling a business is super simple. Only these 5 pillars are there, right? Ultimately, it's just a matter of implementing these 5 pillars and you will scale your business to 1 crore, 2 crore a month. And while working at Ubility, I was seeing that their founder, who was a mentor as well, Rohan, he was already doing 1 CR a month. I always used to think, I was working there for 9 months, why isn't he scaling more? You're already spending X amount of money on ads. Why not just double it? Why not onboard more people? So for me, it seemed pretty simple, right? Until I started working with some done for you clients of myself, right? So we onboarded, in my last video I mentioned, we onboarded a lot of done for you clients where we were managing everything end to end. And that is when I realized that scaling is not that simplistic. In some sense it is. It's kind of paradoxical, I would say. It's not overcomplicated, but it's also not oversimplified. It is a balance of both, I would say, like anything in life. But that's a separate topic, paradoxes. We'll get into it, right? Coming to the major part, when I started working with these done for you clients, what I realized is one simple thing. We were just handling end-to-end sales management. Marketing was being handled by them. Of course, we were giving our inputs over there in terms of strategy and all and whatnot, but we were not the person who was sitting down and doing the, cranking the keyboards and everything for marketing. We are really hiring, firing, managing sales team, training them, ramping them up. So I'll give you the challenges exactly, because majority of you might be stuck right now and you might be thinking, oh, I'm putting in a lot of efforts but I'm not able to scale. That is the same exact feeling that I also had, that why is it so hard to scale a business? Why is it so difficult to make money while running a business? The problem is, scaling a business requires time. Growth requires time, and you need to understand that fact. Now, there are certain exceptions where you just launch a business and you will start making money, good amount of money. That happened with me as well. Initial 3 months of TLS, we made truckloads of money, right? But again, that momentum is lost once all your references dry up and you have to now start building your acquisition system, right? And even though if you scale your business to a very high point and your acquisition is sorted and you don't have other things sorted out, still chaos will come and will go down again. So scaling a business involves having a lot of moving parts. I'll give you a real life example. We were working with this coach. We are still working with him, India's biggest dating coach, called can't name him due to NDA, right? But he's the biggest dating coach, almost getting 70 million views just on Instagram every single month through his reels. I'm pretty sure if you are a young individual, you must have seen his reel and you definitely know him. He's the biggest one in India, right? Now the problem with this guy is his marketing is pretty much sorted. He's getting a lot of organic leads and he's running paid ads as well, does webinars and all. But in terms of sales, our goal was to help him to scale his business to, initial goal was 50 lakhs a month, right? Pre-GST cash collected. That is what the goal was. Now we started hiring people. We hired so many people. Like last month itself, I conducted 22 interviews for this account itself, and we hired 4 out of 22 people, right? And still hiring is going on. While the time I'm recording this video, literally in half an hour, I have an interview that I'll take for this account again. So the point is, we were hiring so many people, but people were not retaining. These were superbly handpicked, cherry-picked people by me. We have a proper interview process. We are rigorously, finalizing candidates, and they are then just leaving. For example, out of the 4 people we hired, there was one guy that I was really looking up to him, that he would come in and perform. He was like a self-learner. I can say I was seeing myself in him, my younger version, when I started out my career. But what happened? He came to the office, came to the office one day. Second day, he was on a leave without any notice, no response to calls and texts. Third day on a leave. Fourth day came, gave everything back, resigned and went. So there are a lot of moving parts when you are scaling a business, right? If I had to name down things, you need to have a proper compensation plan for the sales team, while keeping in mind that the business profits do not take a hit. Now, there are certain people in the industry who are giving out 15% to closers, 5% to setters, 20% margins are gone. And then remaining, you also have to run ads. You also have other expenses, office rent, all that jazz. You have fulfillment cost, right? And ultimately, the net profit is just 20%. 20%, 30% at a lower stage. They're not even doing 1 crore, but they're at a 30% net profit margin, which makes no sense if you're running a service-based business, right? Because you do not have any physical products involved. So you need to have better and higher margins over there, net profit margins. So compensation plans are the most complex thing, I would say. Number 2 is culture, work culture and management. If your work culture sucks, right, you are not going to able to retain a high A-player team, basically. That is what was happening in this account, and then we basically got to the crux of it and we started improving it. The culture wasn't set right. People were not liking the culture. So even though we were hiring the A players from the market, giving them heavy salaries and commissions, whatnot, they were quitting. They were not able to perform. Why? Because environment is very important. Number 2. Number 3, your marketing. Your marketing cannot be unpredictable. You need have a predictable sense of, stream of leads coming into your business. Why? Because if you're hiring closers and they have empty calendars, they don't have leads to dial, then it's a waste of time. They won't stick around. And if people won't stick around, you won't be able to scale the business. So everything is connected to each other. Number 4, your delivery systems. If your deliveries are failing while you are scaling, right, you do not have enough capacity to deliver, then basically you are going to crash. You won't be able to scale the business further. Why? Because if you cannot service the people after they have bought in, then like very soon people will start calling you scammer, right? So to avoid that, you will have to pause your marketing and your sales effort overall. Next thing is creating that mindset in people. Why? Because hiring is just one small part. Ultimately, what you need to realize is, if you want to scale a business, right, majority what I have seen from my experiences, there are two things that you need to master. Number one is communication. Shocker, right? Communication. And number 2 is people management skills. These two things. Communication is important because if you do not communicate, things will stall. Things won't move forward. Communication plays a very, very important role when you are scaling a business. Each and every department must communicate with each other about everything. When I say everything, all essential things, right? Not literally everything. The sales team should know how the marketing is doing. The marketing team should know how the sales team are doing. The finance team should know what the sales team are doing, what are their bonuses for the week, what a month, right? And what are the incentives that we are going to give them. Everything should be in a sync. As a manager, I always had to make sure that my communication is always on point. If I stop communicating, the business will literally stop growing. So that's the number 1 thing that is required. Number 2 is people management. Why? Because ultimately you're dealing with people, and people have their own shit going on in their lives. For example, closers have their own personal heartbreaks, which is a true thing. They have their own personal things. Somebody has to shift their home. Somebody has some health issue. Somebody has some other things going on in their life, some legal disputes, etc., etc. And you need to know how to deal with that. Some people are just feeling demotivated because they are not able to perform even after putting in the efforts. Now you have to give them mindset coaching. You have to build a relation with them, right? So there are a lot of moving parts. It's not as simple ki just increase the ad spend on marketing, get more closers, and you'll start scaling. Nah, it seems like that, but it isn't that simple. So the message, what is the message over here? Message is pretty simple. If you are an entrepreneur, remember that scaling will take time. Even to reach that 10 lakh rupees per month, 15 lakhs a month, 20 lakhs a month, it will take time. And if you are aiming to go 50 to 1 crore, definitely will take time. My younger self, when I was working at Ubility, always used to think, why isn't this guy scaling his business faster? Now I can understand these were the challenges that he was also facing. Whenever you try to scale, some significant team member resigns. And then you have to find another one, ramp him up again, then 1 month is lost, then you ramp him up, then he quits as well, then you are at the square one. So there are a lot of things that you need to consider when you talk about scaling. So what I'm not saying is, I am not telling you to be passive while running a business. You need to be aggressive. That aggression is needed. That hunger, that fire in your belly is definitely needed as a business owner. And that is how you would be able to motivate your teammates as well. But at the same time, knowing that this is a game of patience is what you also need to know as a business owner. Otherwise, you are going to beat yourself up so many times and you are going to just eventually give up. You just need to keep at it. Just be consistent. Just keep on putting in the reps. Don't give up. I call this philosophy being patiently aggressive, right? So you need to be patient. You need to know that this is a long-term game. But while knowing that, you need to, give your 110% every single day. Be aggressive in the short term while knowing that it's a long-term game. That is what patiently aggressive exactly means. I'll give you a simple example. If you must have seen my client testimonial video, I used to work with Hardik as well, Hardik Bhatia. There's a video that you can watch. So that guy, I learned this skill. When I reflect back, I can see that he had this skill of not giving up. Why? Because he is in the trading niche. Trading niche is very tricky to scale. Why? Because SEBI has a lot of guidelines. You cannot run advertisements. You cannot make certain claims, right? You have to be very strict with the ads. And if there is even a little bit of mismatch over here and there, your ads get banned. So scaling that is very difficult. And that is what we were facing. Marketing was the biggest challenge in his business. But he stayed consistent. He stayed consistent for almost 1.5 years to figure out marketing itself. Just that one funnel, VSL funnel. He kept on working at it, and eventually now he has scaled the business to 25-30 lakhs a month by running advertisements. But that persistence is what I basically respected in his overall about him, and that is why he became successful. And that is what I'm trying to implement now in my business, focusing on one thing and being persistent with it. If you feel marketing is a challenge in your business right now, just focus all your resources to figure out marketing. Don't get distracted until you fix that. Whether it takes a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year, keep focusing on that. If sales is the challenge, keep focusing on that. Do not get distracted. Be patiently aggressive. Know it's a long-term game. Put your 110 efforts every single day and stay tuned with your goal. Be persistent. That's the message for this video. Hopefully, if you found this valuable, drop your comments below, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video.